Hello and welcome to Bodhi Unified Flow. I'm your host, Dr. Mary Muthu. Here we're all about simplifying complexity and amplifying performance. Today we're diving deep into what I think is the most critical phase of any project, the very, very beginning. You know, the part that happens long before a single task is assigned. Getting this part right, well, that's the real secret to success.
It's a question that keeps a lot of us up at night, right? Why do so many projects, even with smart people and the best intentions, just completely miss the mark? We tend to point fingers at the execution phase, when things are actually being built. But you know what? The real problem is usually hiding in plain sight, right back at the start.
Exactly. I mean, think about it like building a skyscraper. If your foundation is wobbly, built on guesswork and vague ideas, you are setting yourself up for disaster. But a solid, well-planned foundation, it can support almost anything you decide to build on top of it. And that solid start is exactly what we're going to talk about today.
So, here's our roadmap. We'll walk through the essential steps to build that solid foundation. First, we'll tackle the big why, crafting a business case that really justifies the whole effort. Then we'll get real with the can we, assessing if the project is even possible. After that, we'll look at how to get that official green light, and then we'll wrap it all up with the key takeaways you need to remember. Let's get into it.
Okay, first up, the foundation of success. Before we get into all the details, let's be super clear on what you're going to walk away with today.
By the time we're done here, you are going to have a really firm grasp on this whole initiation phase. You'll be able to put together a business case that actually gets attention, use a fantastic framework called Telos to test if an idea can fly, and you'll know the crucial difference between a project charter and a PID. Basically, you'll have the tools to build that rock-solid foundation for any project you touch.
All right, let's jump into our second section, crafting the business case. This is all about answering the single most important question that should be at the heart of every single project. Why? Why are we doing this? Why now? And why should we pour our company's precious time, money, and energy into this?
So a business case, it's not just a proposal, it is a strategic justification. It clearly defines the problem you're trying to solve or the opportunity you're going after. It lays out your solution and, this is key, it forecasts the return on that investment. You can think of it as the economic backbone of your project. It's the thing that directly connects what you're building to the value it creates for the business.
A really great business case is kind of like a Swiss Army knife. It does three critical things at once. First, it gives leadership a clear, structured way to make that go or no-go decision. Second, it gets everyone on the same page, from the developers to the CEO, so you're all working towards a single, clear purpose. And third, it's your key to getting what you need. A powerful business case is the best tool you have for securing the budget and the people to make it happen. But here's the thing. That justification, it only holds water if it's built on crystal clear objectives. Vague goals like, let's improve efficiency, they just don't cut it. How do you measure that? When are you done? That's where the gold standard for setting goals comes into play, the SMART framework.
Let's quickly break this down. Specific means you know exactly what you're delivering. Measurable means you have hard numbers, KPIs to track your progress. Achievable. Now this is the reality check. Is this even possible? This often becomes the most political part because it forces a really honest conversation about resources right at the beginning. Relevant makes sure your project actually helps the company's bigger goals. And time-bound puts a deadline on it. This framework turns a vague wish into a concrete mission. So improve efficiency becomes reduce manual data entry time by 20% within 6 months. See the difference? Now that's a target you can actually hit.
Okay, so you've nailed down why you should do the project. The next, and just as important question is, can you actually do it? This is where the feasibility study comes in. It's that critical reality check before you commit any serious money or time.
A feasibility study is a cold, hard look at a project's real chances of success. It's not about selling the idea. It's about actively trying to find its flaws. The whole point is to uncover those hidden roadblocks and fatal weaknesses before they cost you a fortune. It's really the ultimate risk reduction step that separates a cool idea from a cool, achievable idea.
And a really powerful tool for this is the Telos framework. It's an acronym that gives you 5 different lenses to look through. First, technical. Do we have the technology and the skilled people to actually pull this off? Next, economic. Does it make financial sense? Are the benefits really worth the cost? Then, legal. Are we sure this complies with all the rules and regulations, like data privacy? Fourth, operational.
How will this fit into our daily work? Will it help our current processes or just get in the way? And finally, scheduling. Can we honestly hit the deadline? Using Telos makes sure you're not just looking at one piece of the puzzle, but systematically checking the project's viability from every single angle.
So, your project is justified. You've confirmed it's achievable. So what's next? Well, you need the formal green light. This is that official moment when an idea stops being an idea and actually becomes a project.
And this authorization usually comes in the form of one of two key documents. First, you've got the project charter. I like to call this the project's birth certificate. It's a high-level document that officially says this project exists, and it gives the project manager the authority to get moving. Then you have the project initiation document, or PID. This is more like a detailed blueprint. It's much more comprehensive, and it defines not just what the project is, but exactly how it's going to be managed day in and day out.
The real difference between them boils down to the question each document is trying to answer. A project charter is all about the question, should we do this project? It's focused on that high-level authorization. The PID, on the other hand, answers, how will we manage and control this project? It's a detailed operational plan covering everything from risk management to communications. So the charter empowers the PM to start, while the PID gives the board the detailed plan they need to govern. Understanding which one your organization uses is just fundamental to good governance.
And that brings us to our final section, building on solid ground. Let's pull everything we've talked about together and recap that path from a simple idea to a fully approved project.
It all really comes down to this simple three-step path. First, justify the why with a compelling business case. Second, confirm can we do it with a tough feasibility study. And third, formalize the how with a clear charter or PID. You follow these steps, and you'll be building your project on solid rock, not on wishful thinking. And there you have it. We've hit all our learning goals. You now have the framework to justify a project's value, you can test its viability with a tool like Telos, and you understand the key documents that give it the official go-ahead. You are absolutely ready to start your next project with clarity and confidence. So I'll leave you with one last question to think about. Your next big idea. Is its foundation built on the rock of a solid business case and a tough feasibility study? Or is it built on the sand of simple assumptions and, well, hope? The choice you make right at the very start will define its entire future.
Thank you for joining us here at Bodhi Unified Flow. We hope this has given you the tools to build your next project on a truly solid foundation. Join us next time for another deep dive.
And if you'd like to explore this topic any further, the insights in this explainer were based on the excellent sources you see here on the screen. We really encourage you to check them out.